Oiler fans are fired up following last night's huge win over the Los Angeles Kings in Game 3 of the Western Conference first round in front of a raucous orange crowd last night. It was the Orange Crush, and the Orange crushed the Kings last night with the Oilers winning 7-4 over the Los Angeles Kings. All that more today on Oilers Digest. We recap the night that was, and it's a lovely Saturday, folks. Thanks for joining me here today on Oilers Digest. Lots of playoff hockey going on today that doesn't necessarily involve the Oilers, but still a potential second round matchup that we could see between either the Vegas Golden Knights or Minnesota Wild as they continue to battle in their first round series. I mean, we've still got the Leafs game later on to cheer against the Leafs, but we are on the road to 3,000 subscribers as well. We are 76 away, and make sure you join us here on Oilers Digest for any and all playoff action as the Oilers continue their the round number 4 against the LA Kings in the first round of the playoffs. But without further ado, let's get right into this one. Can you dig that? Yes, Evander Kane, after missing the entire 82 game regular season, hasn't played since June 10th of last year, following, only the one playoff game that he was in game 2, but he's missed nearly a full year of action, and, a healthy Evander Kane is one player that could turn the tide for either team in this series, and that's exactly what he's done for the Oilers last night. As the Oilers take this one 7-4 in regulation time, and a nail biter. I mean, the final score doesn't dictate how I felt during the entire game. Just taking a look at the scoring summary here, the Nuge is huge as he opens up the scoring from a nifty pass from Zach Hyman. They're finding Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in the slot, finding the back of the net past Darcy Kemper, making it 1-0 Oilers. And on the power play, the Oilers currently, going into Game 3, 0 for 5 on the power play, but Evan Bouchard needed only 4 seconds before his patented Bouch bomb found the back of the net. But the Kings, they weren't going to go away quietly with Adrian Kempe with a wicked shot there. The first 2 LA goals from Kempe and Fiala deflected off Oilers sticks there. I know, back in the day, Don Cherry on Coach's Corner always, preached, do not, get your stick in the way of the shot, because, a wacky deflection could go anywhere, and that burnt the Oilers twice there. And then Drew Doughty on the power play, making it 3-2 Kings before Connor Brown made it 3-3. And then 9 seconds after that, Trevor Moore on the weakest goal of the series so far burnt Jake Wallman and put a 5-hole past Cal Pickard. And heading into the second intermission, the Oilers down 4-3, on the verge of going down 3-0 in the series, but the Oilers with a never say die attitude with 4 goals in the third period, albeit 2 were empty netters, but Evander Kane making his presence known in oil country and to the LA Kings. He's seen this team time and time again, not only as an Edmonton Oiler, but also as a San Jose Shark. And then that goal was challenged by the LA Kings. It took them 10 minutes to figure out if it was a good goal or not, but the LA Kings did challenge, and the call was upheld. It stood as a good goal, and the Oilers going to the power play, and they only needed 10 seconds as Evan Bouchard, Leon Draisaitl found Evan Bouchard at the side of the net there. Bit of a 2-on-1 rush play, whatever you want to call it, set play, set power play, whatever, got the Oilers even more so in the lead there. And then the Oilers, from Zach Hyman there to Connor McDavid. I mean, Zach Hyman bulldozed Drew Doughty, found Connor McDavid, and he sealed the game. And then Connor Brown going downtown and making it 7-4 Oilers. You can see there the Evander Kane sort of situation, and he kicked the puck to his stick, batted it in, and then the Kings challenged for goaltender interference, but it was upheld as Andrei Kopitar pushed Evander Kane into the crease there. I thought it was going to be taken back because, hey, they're the Edmonton Oilers, and those never seem to go their way. We all saw the puck over glass ruling, where it clearly hit the glass, made a mark, made a sound, but the refs still thought, hey, you know what, it still went over clean. But the Oilers finally getting a goaltender interference call going their way. Maybe it would have been different if it was Zach Hyman. Who am I to judge there? But, Evander Kane still, not losing his post-game humor on the NHL on TNT post-game. Said we talked about it. We knew we were going to get at least one in the third period. We just couldn't give up any more. We did a great job of that. A full team effort there, not just from the team, but also from Cal Pickard. We shut them out in the third period, and finally, we're able to get a goal. And then he talked to Paul Beeson there on the panel. Did you make that call down to the Kings bench to challenge that? Appreciate that. That could be the turning point in the series. That awful challenge. Not really too sure what the Kings were trying to challenge for. Didn't look like goalie interference to me. Wasn't a kicking motion as he kicked it to his stick and batted it in. Didn't push Kemper's pad as he was, batting the puck past the red goal line there. So who knows there. The Kings, they had a 2-0 series lead at that point. They thought, hey, what is there to lose if they challenge it? And well, considering they lost the game, a lot mattered on that coach's challenge. And again, video coach, assistant coach, whoever made the call to challenge that just wasn't their finest hour. But Connor Brown, with the return of Evander Kane, says he's 1 in a million, man. It's unbelievable what he's able to do when the lights are on, and not just when the lights are on, but when he's healthy. We all saw him, be, I don't want to say useless, but just wasn't the Evander Kane that we all know and love last year against the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Finals. But after a full year, rehabbing all the surgeries and the hernias, it is vintage Evander Kane. I thought he had a great game tonight. Not only did he have 2 big impactful plays, but I thought he was holding on to the puck, forechecking well, and our line was able to sustain some offense, and a lot to do with him. I missed a full season. It took me about 60 games to score, but it took him 6 periods there. I mean, who doesn't love that vintage Evander Kane game? I mean, Oily and Oilier seem to love it in the Rogers Place crowd. Just loud from start to finish. That is what you love to see. This team loves playing in front of this crowd, and it gives them a distinct home ice advantage for the Edmonton Oilers. Just not just the Rogers Place crowd, but like any Canadian playoff crowd. You saw the Bell Center with the Montreal Canadiens last night. Always adds, a distinct advantage for the home team. And Evan Bouchard with a redemption game, and that is, not putting it lightly here for the kid. The first 2 games weren't exactly, his cup of tea when it comes to, the Evan Bouchard that, we've been used to seeing take over in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But, last night, 2 goals, both on the power play. He is getting his swagger back. And Leon Draisaitl also 2 assists, and Adrian Kempe. The Oilers just cannot find a way to stop this guy, despite him going -3 on the night there. But you gotta find a way to neutralize Adrian Kempe, whether it be better defensive coverage. I know that's Captain Obvious in me saying taking less penalties, which I mean. That's just me talking. But taking less penalties always gives you a better chance to win the game. But shots on goal 36-20 in favor of the Oilers. Hits 39-31 in favor of the Oilers. Not like that matters. But face-offs 32-22, dominating LA in the dot there last night. But both teams struggling on the PK. Both teams going 2 for 2 on both of their man advantages there, but LA taking over the block shot category 29-14. But Knoblauch, he loves the win, but he thinks the team could be just a little bit better. As much as I'd like to say that we'll never make a mistake and it's going to be clean, that's not going to be the case. I still thought it was much better than the first 2 games. There were still some things where maybe we didn't need to give that up, or reloads to give up an odd man rush were maybe a little slow. We were hanging around the offensive zone a little bit longer than we needed to. But the turnovers were probably our biggest improvement. I thought we broke the puck out pretty well. I think we've done it pretty well throughout the series, but I can't recall having more than 1 or 2 big mistakes tonight watching the video. I'll probably find some that I ignored, but I think our game is getting better. Just taking a look at the natural stat trick chart from last night, the Oilers 5 having 30 more shot attempts than the LA Kings, which is always a good thing to have. But you know what? The scoring chances still very close for either side there. So the Kings, almost capitalizing on, pretty much all of their shot attempts there. But they always, again, need to find a way to neutralize their top stars, whether it be, Fiala, Byfield. We saw Kempe dominate, even Drew Doughty on the point. We can all see him, even in his old age, still try to take over a game, and that's exactly what the Kings do. It's not just 1 or 2 star players; it is everybody coming together as one complete unit. We saw it in the first 2 games. Everyone, he was scoring by committee in LA, but the Oilers, even though they have that star power, they need to find a way again to get some sort of cohesiveness. But you can see there on the hockey stat chart, just phenomenal games from everybody involved. Sure, there weren't some, perfect games, but there also weren't any, disastrous games. Looking at the bottom of the chart, I mean, Trent Frederick's still on 1 ankle. He can do more things on 1 ankle than I can do on 2, folks. I mean, that's just the kind of guy Trent Frederick is. He's a battler no matter what he is dealing with. But Evander Kane, I mean, 1 game, and this is the type of performance that we get. That is what you absolutely love to see there. Just taking a look at the forwards, even more advanced here. Still some quiet games. I mean, from guys like Victor Arvidsson, Adam Henrique, despite getting an assist, still like to see a little more out of him, even though he only played less than 12 minutes there. But again, you just need the team to gel more. You know, the first 2 games, sure, didn't go their way, but it's a 7-game series for a reason there. But another strong game out of John Klingberg. That is what you love to see. Veteran defenseman doing veteran defenseman things alongside Brett Kulak in Darnell Nurse there. Sure, you know, a few dumb penalties, but what can you do, especially from Wallman there? Just, you know, not the smartest of penalties that led to an LA King goal, but hey, at this point it's playoff reffing. You kind of roll the dice and you take what you can get. But Cal Pickard, I mean, vintage Grant Fuhr like performance here from Cal Pickard. You know, he let in 4, but he's not letting that 5th one in, even though he had an 8.57 for the time being. I think that is his crease for the rest of the playoffs. Even, you know, even if things falter, the team plays a lot better in front of Cal Pickard. I find, you know, comparing him to Stuart Skinner, the team, you know, a little bit more, you know, free flowing, but with Stuart Skinner, they feel like they have to limit their mistakes, and then they just overthink things way too much, and it ends up in the back of the Oiler net. You know, the goal saved above expected with, you know, a minus 0.69, so not even a full goal that he should have saved. But again, wasn't perfect, but he outplayed Darcy Kemper at the other end of the rink there, putting up an 8.53. I mean, like I said at the start of the series, the Oilers needed to find a way to crack Darcy Kemper, and they've done that twice so far this series. So they just need to keep the momentum going, and I mean, minus 2.23 goals saved above expected there for Darcy Kemper there. So not his strongest night either, but the Oilers just need to keep the train rolling, keep the momentum going. They got another game in front of their home crowd there, and it is something to build off of. This is the Oilers in Kings tomorrow night, Sunday. We'll have a preview for you tomorrow afternoon, sort of lineup changes. Hopefully Knoblauch will name the starting goaltender unless he plays some sort of mind games with the LA and, you know, Edmonton media. But Oilers, Kings, Sunday, April 27th, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain. Bit of an earlier one compared to all the other starts in this series. But Leon Draisaitl, you know, after, you know, I don't want to say dominant performance, a great performance from him. Lawson says, we've got a lot of character. We're going to go down swinging. If we go down, we've created that approach here in that attitude within this organization, and we're not going to back down until we are out. And when it comes to his starting goaltender, Knoblauch said, we'll let you know tomorrow. We haven't decided, cracking a bit of a smug smile. So, Knoblauch, not a very good liar, but I mean, it's very interesting to see what he, you know, kind of trickery he pulls. But that is it for today's video. Again, a bit of a later video tonight or today compared to, you know, previous days. But again, thank you for joining us here on Oilers Digest and continuing this Oiler playoff run. Let me know down in the comments what you loved about last night's game, what you didn't really like about last night's game. I mean, lots of concern even going into the third period, lots for the Oilers to clean up. But I mean, we've been down this road before. What makes you think we won't be down it again? Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your Saturday night. I'm Matt.